Hey guys, I am going to be doing a little thing called maintenance. It's from the Latin and it means Kyle Bradshaw can't do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how I grease up the DCJs and the axles and show you how I prevent them from wearing and things like that. It's pretty simple stuff to do. It's just some members of Shit Show Island, well, they can't do it. I don't know. I think it's a shortcoming, but it is what it is. So what I typically use on these is a heavier grease. I typically use this stuff, and I got this stuff from a guy who lives in a van down by the river, Corey. This is just Mobile One. It's a thicker grease, and it's good because it stays on under high rotation. But for the purposes of this video, I'm actually going to be using this stuff because you'll be able to see it a little bit better on camera. So this is expensive, very expensive. Can work just as good, but I prefer to go to the cheap route. So what I usually do is I grab the pin that holds this together. There's a little ring on here, and I slide it up. Give it a little, loosen it up a little bit, and pop the ring right off. And that ring comes off. Put that over here. There's a pin inside of there. Slide that out, like so. And it all comes apart. So the only part of this that I actually grease up is this barrel right here. Some people like to grease the pins and do a bunch of other stuff. This is the only piece that I do. But it is wise if after you've run this for a couple of race days to pull these apart, clean them up, and put new grease on them. And the reason being is the grease picks up all the dirt, dust, and junk from the track, and it gets into the grease, and it can make the grease actually be more abrasive than running these things without grease. So I'd clean them up if you can, for sure. So these don't need to be cleaned. So what I typically do is I take some of this grease, I roll some out here onto a towel, and I just run this through, and I just roll these and just get a coating on them. Pretty simple stuff. I don't want it to be thick. I just want it coating the entire thing, because most of this stuff, if you put it on too thick, it's just going to fly off anyway. You're out there running mod and things like that. These things have to turn at such a high rate, it's just going to fling grease all over your car. So it's pointless to put too much on. Then I just take this, I slide it right back in, grab the axle, slide the pin in, just like so. And this ring is actually kind of important on how you put it back onto the car. So the idea is you have two sides of the car, and these rings will actually go on in an opposite way for each one of these that you build. And I'll kind of try and show you how this works. So if this is the bottom of your car right here, and you've got your axle right here, and this E-clip goes around and fastens everything together. If your car is traveling in this direction, the best way I can explain the direction you want to put that E-clip on, it's not an E-clip, it's a ring actually, is you have this notch right here. This notch should actually be going in this direction, towards the front of the car. And the reason being is this all rotates in this direction, like so. And you want this clip down here because this clip actually fits down inside of a hole, and it doesn't want to come out. If you do it in the opposite direction, if this was turning in the opposite direction, this would be forward facing, and you get enough the RPM on this thing, and this side might want to start to lift, and it causes it to loosen, and it can fly off of there. So when you put it on the car, face it on the top of the axle. This thing should be pointing to the front of the car. Think of it like half of an arrow. It points towards the front of the car. That's how I put them on there. That way they don't fly off. And it's pretty simple. You do that with the DCJs. You do it with the axles. And you won't have that accidental thing where it just flies off. And let's put this on here. Just like so. Hard to do on camera. Just like so. And you're on the car. So we will do that now. If I can get my car out of the way. We'll do that now with the DCJs, because the DCJs actually have 2 of these pins. And let's get these guys released here, and I'll show you. It's basically the same process. Everything is the same process, but there's actually 2 barrels inside of these things that you need to grease up. So we'll pull that off. We'll find the other one here. And all I do is push these up, and then you can just, once you've pushed the ring up, you can kind of push it off to the side, and it comes right off. Then you take your pins out of here, and there are 2 pins in these. See if I can get these out of here with this. I'll use this guy. Push the pins out, just like so. We'll do this side. Push the pin out, just like so. And inside of these is your little barrels. And these are the barrels that you're going to want to grease up. Same barrel, doesn't matter. They go into either one, can go into the same size. So I do this. Let's grab a little bit more of this. Put some down on the towel. These are a little bit harder to roll in the oil or in the grease because they don't have a center section in here. So you just kind of roll them, get them in the grease, and just kind of roll it out a little bit to try and get rid of some of the extra. It's well greased. This is magnetized a bit, so it's holding on to it. And then you can literally throw this guy in there, just like so. And it's back inside, and it's greased up. Do the same thing on this side. Don't want too much, you just want it to coat it, but not too much. Put that back in. Go ahead and use my fingers here. Just like so. Take this guy, place one side in, and we'll throw the pin in there. Like so. Do the same thing with this side. It goes inside. Line up your hole for the pin. And just like so, the pins are in there, but they are not secured yet. So we do the same thing with this ring. So we need to decide which side of the car this is going on, and you follow the same rule with this clip. Whatever is going to be the front side of the car. roll it up, give it a little extra slack here. These things are kind of a pain in the butt to work with, so once you get them on there, slide it over, and it's on the car. So this one, the hook is coming down. It would be this direction on the car. You just need to make sure that this ring goes in the same direction, and it is facing this direction, so I'm going to put it this way on the car so they match, and we throw that on there. Like so. This is rather difficult to do on camera. Oops. Just like so. And you are on the car and ready to roll. So you do that with all of them. As you do these every couple weeks or so, it will keep things. It'll keep it from wearing out, just from being having too much dirt and stuff on the track. It's wise to grease them up, because metal on metal, they just start to wear and you'll start seeing shiny parts on the metal. That's what you want to try and avoid. Ruins the tolerance. Keep them greased up. It's simple to do. I mean, honestly, if you're not doing this on camera, it's probably going to take you 10, maybe 15 minutes to do it as basic maintenance on the car. Your parts will last a lot longer, and you won't be like Kyle anymore. So anyways, that's it. That's how I do it. Just wanted to show you guys. Have fun.